So, year 8. This is a video explaining the first task in the practical work for your film music work that you're going to be doing during this half term. In front of you, you should have the plan for the lesson, which you've got off Doddle. Here it is. For most of you, you'll also have access to your BandLab account. Okay, just a quick thing. If you look at the green line there, it says for those of you who don't have access to BandLab for whatever reason, there are instructions down the bottom here, just after the other green bit, that tell you how to do this work if you can't get on BandLab. But if you have BandLab, you need to be using it for this work. So, up at the top here it says this task is a composing task. That means you are creating your own music. So although we're watching a clip, you're not learning the music from the clip, you're making up your own. And each week you'll be working on a different section of the clip and learning the relevant musical techniques. So we're going to be building up quite a lot of vocabulary as you go through. Today, as it says, we're dealing with the opening 20 seconds of the clip. And the two main words we're going to be using are the word drone and the word pentatonic melody. The first instruction says, watch the clip. So the clip is about 1.5 minutes long, but today, although you can watch the whole clip yourself, the bit we're concentrating on is from the beginning up to number 20. In your doddle, you will find that you've got the instructions for the lesson, the clip with the soundtrack, which is what we're going to listen to, but also the clip without the soundtrack so that you can watch it and think about your own music as we get further on. So, this is the video clip. We're going to watch it once first, just the first 20 seconds. The sound isn't brilliant when it records from my laptop, so just have a listen. But obviously you've got the video as well, so you can watch it a bit better. It is better if you use headphones on your device when you're listening to stuff because you just hear more of the detail. Anyway, here we go. And that's the section that we're concentrating on. And that section, in terms of the music, is really quite simple. There are two things going on. When you're listening to it on my laptop, one of those is very, very difficult to listen to, but it's called a drone. A drone is a continuous low-pitched sound, and in this case, it's being played on string instruments like cellos and double basses, and it goes on, and it's a continuous sound underneath what's going on. The other thing that you can hear is the melody, the tune of the piece, and that's being played in this piece on an instrument called a celeste, which is a bit like a glockenspiel, which is a metal xylophone. And it's quite a simple tune, but those two things combined together, the very low-pitched drone and the high-pitched celeste, give a magical feel, telling us right from the opening of this movie, which is where the clip comes from, that we're dealing with a magical situation, and that's what we're hoping to recreate today in your work. So once you've watched the video, it says today we'll be recreating the underscore, and you should know from last week that underscore is the background music, what happens behind the pictures for the opening 20 seconds. So go to your BandLab account, make sure it's edu.bandlab.com, log in with the details that you had before, and when you get in there, you'll find the Year 8 Film Music Project. There it is. You need to click Start Assignment, and then you choose Teacher's Assignment. When you get there, you'll find this. So the first thing is an awful lot of you found out that the assignment brief, where it gives the instructions, is just in the way. So this green button here gets rid of it. Okay, and you can see that there's one track already been loaded in, and that takes us from bar 1 up to here, which if we look is at just about 20 seconds, and that's the section that we're doing from bar 1 up to the end of bar 7, which is where the number 8 is. And I've recorded in a drone. Now this is not a continuous low sound, it's got two notes, one is continuous and the other one changes a bit just to give it a little bit of interest. Have a listen. And that gives the background. Now here, I can make that sound louder or quieter, at least I should be able to. It's decided not to move, which is nice. Oh, I know why. I've put automation on. This happened to a few people last time. Okay, so if I want to move it, I need to be moving it here. I'm going to make mine slightly quieter after the beginning, just so that I can hear the melody over the top. Don't forget this button. It's exactly the same button that we have in Logic and GarageBand. That's your automation. That's where you can use your volume. Okay, so now we're going to come down here to the melody part. Now I've already set the melody part up with the instrument that I want you to use, which is a glockenspiel, which is the closest we've got on BandLab to the Celeste sound, and I've put it at octave 5, which is very, very high pitched. Okay, so if I click on it here, whoa, that's loud. I'm just going to turn that down a little bit for now so it doesn't deafen you. Okay, so that's what we're going to be using. Now let's have a look at these instructions. It says your work today is to create a melody, the tune for this section. You need to use the notes G, A, B flat, D and E. So first up we need to look at where those notes are. And the difficulty here is that those notes are not the same as the letters that you have to press. So this is G on a keyboard here. So I'm pressing the letter B. The next one is A, I'm pressing N. And the next one is B flat. B flat is a black note and this is the one labelled J. So I've got B, N, J, that's my first note. And then I've got D and E, which is my full stop and bizarrely my cue. Okay, so. Okay, and the idea of this task is simply that I will play that melody, I'll play some notes, just a mixture of those notes, and see if I can create something that I like. So what I'd probably do is I'd play this, and then I'd try and just improvise, try ideas out over the top until I get something that I like. Now it's quite difficult here to hear where the beats are, so I'd need to try lots of different ideas. So that was quite a slow idea. I could try it again. And that's a faster idea. You can hear the sound ringing on because I've put some reverb on the back of it just to make it sound more echoey and a bit more spooky. When I'm happy with what I've got, I simply need to make sure that I can press record. Don't forget to click on the keyboard before you start playing, otherwise it doesn't work. I think some of you found that out with the last project as well. So lots of things you've already learned about this software. So I'm just going to record in a melody. Okay, so if I double click it, I can get to this screen, which again is very, very like the screen that you have in Logic, and I can look at what I've done and I can listen back to my work. And it's okay, I can edit my work. For example, I don't like this note here. I think it's a bit out of time. So I can click it and I can drag it so it's in the right place. Or I can use the quantize like you've used before. If I like the beginning of it and I don't like the end, I can click and drag over the top and I can delete that section. And then I can go back and I can record something in that bit. If I don't like the whole of that end bit, but I like the beginning bit, I can make it shorter, like this, and then I can just start recording after that at this point. So there are lots of things I can do to edit my work, or I can just delete the whole lot and start again. Okay, so the idea here is that you'll get a basic tune. Some of you will go on into the optional tasks, and the optional tasks are where we add a little bit more theory to what's going on. So there are 3 here, and the first one says try to use some repetition in your melody. Repetition means just doing the same thing more than once. So I had a bit of tune that sounded like this. Let me just get my instrument back. Here we go. Okay, so I could use repetition by maybe doing the first bit twice. And immediately there, I've used repetition. The second point says, see if you can add a sequence. Now, sequence is something that is new to your melody. This means hearing the same tune but at a slightly higher or lower pitch. So G, A, B flat, which is what I was playing. Whoops, let's go back here. Would turn into the next notes along that scale. Okay, or even. So instead of that simple repetition, where I played the same thing twice, I could play it the first time and then have it as a sequence. And then with the ending of my tune on it. And now I've got something which is starting to have really quite a nice shape. If I added in a different rhythm, maybe like this. Then I've got a melody which I can probably be really proud of and I can record in. Okay, let's just try and record that. So that was okay. I'm quite happy with that. But again, I've only done half of it, so I would need to come up with some ideas for the end. The last idea on here, where is it? There it is. It's just about using different octaves. We've talked about octaves already because we've chosen a high octave here, and I've started playing here. But those 3 notes I'm using there are also here, look. So if instead of using B, N and J, I can use E, R and 5. And I get exactly the same notes, but just higher up. So I could experiment with that maybe in my next section and give my work some more variety. So what I'm looking for by the end of today's lesson is just this part here is recorded in. So you'll have a part there from bar 1 up to the end of bar 7, which is where the number 8 is. And for those of you who've done the optional task as well, you will have evidence of some repetition, some sequence, and maybe using different octaves as well. Okay? The last bit is an extension task, but it'll be useful if you want to have a go with this. Okay? Down here, we've got the sheet music for the actual Hedwig's theme from the Harry Potter movie, the one that goes do 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 do. And you're going to need that in about 3 lessons' time to put into your piece of music. So if you want to start having a look at that, then you can do. If you don't have an instrument, there's a link to a virtual piano that you can play that on. Okay, so that's the end of my instructions. I hope you enjoy having a go at this and be as creative as you can.